Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy MKS here, back with another video. Come to the third and penultimate part of my list of questions to ask for Celtic sports, two Celtic sports rather. I hope you enjoy it. Sorry about my monotone voice or whatever, my feminine voice or whatever. But anyway, um, yeah, I haven't really planned it as well as I'd like, but I'm just going to say it from the heart anyway. So here goes. I'm drinking a cup of tea because it's part three. So it's silly than I have like for part three normally. I like to have a cup of tea. So something as silly as that, I know. But I mean, I know that's quite silly, but anyway, that is just me. So here goes. So these are pointers number 21 to 30 as per usual. So here goes. So number 21, as I normally say, 21 again. The saying goes 21 again. I was thinking I could recap some of parts 1 and 2, but then I think you could always just watch them if you haven't already done so, and maybe rewatch them if you have already watched them. So I won't go too much into to what I talked about in parts 1 and 2 or in the past. If I can help it, I'm just going to try and think about this video. If there's something, talking about 21 again, if there was something about Celtic's history that you would like the world to know, what would it be? Or maybe even multiple things, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 or even more things about Celtic's history, like how it was founded, when it was founded, and so any historical facts, stats, figures, general info and knowledge and whatever about the club. What would you like people to know about the club? I think that would be interesting to know. As with all these questions I'm asking, but it would be interesting to find out if Celtic supporters get involved. Hopefully, as many Celtic supporters as possible will get involved and say answer these questions as well as possible. Which would be interesting to get feedback from the supporters. I'd love to have. In fact, I'm going to say this in point number 22, just as I think like 21 could be looking back at the past, hence talking about parts 1 and 2 and the history of the club and questions I've asked in the past, and also videos I've made in the past about Celtic. Looking ahead to the future, talking about the future, are there any videos you'd like to see in the future? You cover any topics you'd like me to cover or anything else? Or any potential titles or things like that you'd like me to cover? If so, please recommend them as well. But yeah, what did I say? Sorry. Thinking of the future, I talked about like what would you like to see? I'm going back into parts 1 and 2. And I said I'm going to try and look to the future, but now I forgot my train of thought, so that's a bit annoying. But yeah, so that's really annoying. I've completely forgotten my train of thought. Sorry, I was saying 21 is looking back at the past, and 22 could be looking to the future. So I know I sort of already asked like what would your goals and dreams be for the future of Celtic? Well, that's more realistic goals and dreams, or more idealistic goals and dreams, or whatever. Normally, I think of a dream as just like very idealistic versions of a goal, or whatever. An idealistic version of a goal. I was just thinking, I hope the cat doesn't knock the picture down behind me, but yeah, no, he's probably just going to knock my tea down instead. Well, it's good. But yeah, it's really annoying. I completely forgot what I was going to say for point number 22. But what do you see this future holding for Celtic, and how would you like the future to be, I guess? But yeah, I'm sure there's something I was going to say, and I've completely forgotten. But I'm going to move on to number 23. I'd love to know from Celtic supporters. I was thinking one when I was talking about point number 21. I was thinking, or question number 21 in this case. Well, point number 21, question number 21. In this case, it's the same thing. Oh, my brain's gone again. So my chain of thoughts gone again. What brain? About a historical fact about the club, sorry, which is that it was set up as a charity for the disadvantaged people, mainly of Irish Catholic descent, who went to Glasgow from Ireland. So yeah, that's one historical fact about. I wasn't sure whether to give that one away or not, but yeah, I mean, you could second that in the comments. But as ever, please feel free to post up whatever you want, preferably on topic and preferably politely in the comments. But whatever you want to post. As I say, preferably answering these questions. So I'd love for as many Celtic supporters as possible to answer these questions, and even like footy, soccer, calcio, football, or whatever you want to call us, fans, supporters, and whatnot. Everyone with a view, even people with a soft spot for Celtic, or even those who dislike Celtic, or even those who are haters or whatever, and especially those that like it and love us, preferably, either as a first or as a second club. I'm covering all my bases there. But what do you think the club could do to fundraise, and what sort of things do you think the club should fundraise for? What good causes should the club support? Like, it could be things like climate change / global warming. I normally get those mixed up, but they're sort of connected. Poverty, ending homelessness, or at least working to the best of our ability to do so, or helping young people, helping old people, or whatever it might be, and whether that's in Glasgow or across Scotland or even across the world. I'd love for the club to be able to do more across Africa, Asia, Latin America, and other emerging market economies and growing countries, and Aboriginals, supporting tourism, Strait Pacific Islanders and Maoris and Native Americans, maybe visiting Native American reservations, going to Aboriginal centres, visiting Aboriginal communities, helping to sell their art, buy and sell their art, find out about them and their needs, and the challenges they face, and whatever it might be that we could do to help those people, Aboriginal, Torres Strait Islanders, Maoris, and whoever. Yeah, I'd love to know what good causes you think we could support, and could there be ideas like how the club could work with FIFA and UEFA? That's an idea I came up with, to get more investment, either directly from FIFA and UEFA themselves, helping the club to buy more pitches, for instance, for young people in Glasgow or even around the world, in Glasgow, Scotland, or even regionally, globally, nationally, or even globally, worldwide, internationally. So yeah, I think that it'd be cool if FIFA and UEFA invested in the club and helped it to buy more pitches in return for the club doing good work to get more people into soccer through academies and sports clubs and whatnot, including in developing nations. But also, FIFA and UEFA could encourage and enable investors and sponsors to invest in the club. Like, one idea I have is like, whatever money we give away to charity, hopefully sponsors will come and match that. So I'd love for us to be able to get 10% of our, let's say, equity, then, our revenue, and be able to be tax exempt as well. That's another thing I'd love to. I'd love for the club to benefit through FIFA and UEFA, enabling more investment into the club, and even keeping their own investment into the club and sponsorship and that kind of thing. Sponsorship deals with FIFA and UEFA to build more pitches and academies for the club. And I'd also love for the club to be tax exempt and things like that, and basically to get as much investment and sponsorship as possible, as long as it's legal. Any legal ways the club could gain investment. And jumping ahead of myself, I'd love to see how neurodiverse people, or even people with mental health problems, could show what we could do to benefit the club, with our out of the box thinking and that kind of thing. For the club to get as much investment as possible, as long as it's legal, investment and sponsorship and that kind of thing, funds, money and that kind of thing. But yeah, if people have ideas on that, basically I could also ask, I guess I'm going to also ask, how could the club attract investment and sponsorship, and basically money, funding and that kind of thing. What good causes could the club do to make the world a better place? Another thing is, like, what could the club do generally to make the world a better place? So I'd love for the club to benefit from investment and sponsorship and all possible legal, again, keyword being legal, forms of investment and sponsorship, and basically funding into the club, even donations to the club and that kind of thing. And at the same time, I'd love for the club to be able to benefit people locally, regionally, nationally, and internationally, globally, and that kind of thing, worldwide, in places like Mali, Kenya, Ethiopia, India, China, and all over the world, basically, especially to tackle poverty and make the world a better place and that kind of thing. But yeah, that's another thing I was thinking of, but I might cover that in point number 24. One thing I was thinking of is, I suppose this is more about asking questions to Celtic supporters, but another thing is, like, I know I'm not a Catholic, but could and should Catholics around the world, that even those who are not into footy, soccer, calcio, football, or whatever you want to call it, support the club financially and as supporters, as fans, basically. So two types of supporters, regular fans, and also those who invest in, sponsor, and even donate to the club. Just to sort of get revenge on Rangers, and could the club work to attract more supporters, more people to support the club, including like even Catholics, POC, people of colour, people from developing nations, people from Africa, Asia, Latin America, off the island, and all over the world, Australasia, and different groups, POC and whatnot. Number 25, how can the club use its Republic support for republics to attract more supporters from republics and those who support republicanism, like the campaign group Republic, even here in Britain, for instance, to support the club. And number 26, and also the anti-imperialists, how can the club work with anti-imperialists? Like, I support the club as an anti-imperialist and as a Republic supporter. But yeah, how can the club benefit people from republics and colonies, former colonies, and at the same time get support from anti-imperialists? Could the club work with supporters of anti-imperialism and supporters of republicanism? And by republicanism, I mean republics. I don't mean like violent republicanism or whatever. In fact, I think the club should detach itself from any violence, including like IRA or stuff like that. But what do you think? People like that, I'd love to know, especially, as I say, Celtic sports. But all views welcome, as they wrote, number 27. Also, so yeah, how could the club increase its brand and marketing and that kind of thing, and support base all over the world, and maybe people to find out about the good work it does? How can it better brand and market itself, as I say, which to me entails promoting the club as a brand, really, I suppose, all over the world. I talked before in part 1, point number 2, about like learning from other clubs. So what can the club do in terms of learning from like Man United, Liverpool, AC Milan, Inter Milan, Roma, Barcelona, Real Madrid, and others, like to what they do well, especially at Man United, like to attract supporters all over the world. What could the club learn from them to attract its support base, and how can it promote all the good work it does to again get more supporters all over the world? So I'd love for the club to be supported all over the world. So all four corners of the world, or whatever they say. Number 28, how can the club turn negatives into positives? Number 29, I wonder what could neurodivergent people and even people with mental health problems, as I say, there's a method to the madness. What could we do? I suppose being both neurodivergent and pretty mad and suffering from mental health problems myself, what could we do to benefit the club financially and on and off the pitch? Like, could and should the club have like its own events, like its own mini World Cups for people with neurodiverse conditions and even those with mental health problems? Could it help us to travel to Celtic Park and work with them, and maybe even like look at getting cheap deals on like travel, holidays and things like that, and travel and expenses and that kind of thing, so we can go and coach and share our ideas. Like I say, there's a method to the madness, or out of the box thinking on ways to attract investment to the club, and investment, sponsorship, and that kind of thing, so to benefit the club on and off the field and hopefully win things, help them to win things and that kind of thing. And also mixed race and other POC. And number 30, are there any other things that you can think of, again, that could benefit the club, and any other thoughts you have on the club? And on that note, out. Peace and love.